What's up, guys? It's Chris with Mountainbaits Outdoors. Today, I'm going to do a test on these three plastics here from Dead On. This is their crawl tube sinking. This is their Red Label Soft, which is a neutral buoyancy. And this is, don't mind the word house blend, this is their warm blend. I save my 5-gallon jugs when I empty them. And when I order a 5-gallon, I dump 1 gallon in to the 1 gallon. Makes it easier to hold. But I want to know if the sinking weighs more than the floating per bait. We're going to use Angling AI's 4-inch Cali grub. I think this one is going to give us a good representation of the weight to see if they weigh more or do they all weigh the same. We're going to do it as scientific as I can. We're going to do 3/4 of a cup in one of these 1 cups, and we're going to do 15 to 20 drops, probably 20 drops per cup. So we're going to do, and I don't have much of this warm blend left. This is our floating. So let's get this as close to 3/4 of a cup. Spin all of them around. As I can, even though I don't think the amount really matters. There's 3/4 of a cup of the floating. Go ahead and get that running. And I'm going to do each of them for 2.5 minutes and then 50 seconds after. 2.5 minutes. While that one's going, we'll leave that there. We'll get our soft and the Red Label. Actually, these are backwards. There we go. 3/4 of a cup. There we go. And 3/4 of a cup of their sinking blend. I just got to thinking about it. I was like, I wonder if these weigh more or do they all weigh the same? 3/4 of a cup. There. All right. We're going to add no flake because I don't know if flake weighs like micro to what this stuff actually you can order it in, and I feel like one bait could have more flake in it than the other, so we're gonna go no flake. Just this is my other plastics. I care colors I use. It's got the big normal lids, but I've cut them so they just pour out instead of drip out. So we're going to use the old green pumpkin from Lure Works. I don't think that's going to be too big of an issue. Now the only problem is that I will have to degas these. The sinking and the floating. The Red Label does not give me bubbles, which I'm not sure how I'm going to cope with that in this. I haven't thought that part through. I have no clue. I didn't think that part through. It just hit me that they have to be degassed. I don't think the temperature is going to be a factor on how much they weigh. So we'll just we'll pull this out, we'll stir it, we'll put it back in, we'll degas it while the other one's cooking. And we got up a little bit. Actually, that's not terrible, but there's still some bubbles. Looking at it, and you'll see how cloudy this looks. Just wait till you see the red label. 30 seconds. I'm going to do 40. 40 on these, and I'm going to put it in the degasser while the we'll do this one last because it takes the floating or the red label because it doesn't take any degassing, and we'll do the sinking next. That way when the sinking's going, it can be degassing while this floating is curing in the mold. Okay. Go to the degasser real quick. It's going. We'll grab our crawl tube. Put it in for 2.5 minutes. Because as it's pulling the bubbles out of the degasser, it is cooling it as it goes, which I don't think is going to be that big of an issue, but it might. I wish I had 3 molds. That way I could go pour out of, or inject versus inject, wait, inject, wait, inject, wait. That's good. You can see, we'll angle this up real quick. See how hazy and cloudy this is? I'm not a big fan of how that turned out after using this guy. So 15 drops. We'll do 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, there's our 15 drops in the floating. All right, and he goes back down. Let's get this guy out, and we'll go ahead and inject it. Our sprue is topped off. That is finished. Cooking for the first time around. I'll just top that off. We'll grab out this cup. As you can see, their sinking is still pretty white, and that was after 2.5 minutes in the and the surface bubbles are so much more on this. So we're going to go in for another 40 seconds, and that should be good. 40 seconds. Now, this mold is probably already cured. But I'm going to wait until this has finished onto my right over here, the microwave. And then I will put that in the degasser. And put in the red label. So we are done with floating. Yeah, see, look at the surface on this. Look at how much more bubbles are on this. I got this one cup, so I don't really care for when I'm doing this. And I have to degas it because it is too full, and I gotta keep tabs on it to make sure that it doesn't overflow. Which I don't think it is. So while that's doing its thing down there, let's go ahead and take these guys out. I'm using the camera's audio this time. Oh wow, I actually like that. Instead of my microphone, let's see if there's a big difference. But I like that color. That's almost like a watermelon. But we only need the one, but I'm going to take these off and most likely fish with them. Put them off to the side over here where you're in front of the right plastic. Okay, this is done. Get them all put back together. Here he goes back up. You can still see the bubbles on the side, but it's no bubbles on the inside of the plastic. 15 drops, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That went in a lot. You can see it's not sinking as quick. You actually see a little bit more. 15 drops of Rourke's Old Green Pumpkin. Alright, and you guys back down and we'll shoot this. I gotta be careful. I greased my injectors yesterday, and they're so loose from the grease being so easy to move that I was making some baits for my trip coming up in the middle of next week, and when I went to fill up my sprue, I forgot, and it was so loose and it just went kind of like this was full, and I just barely pushed it, and it went almost to the bottom and shot plastic out all over the countertop. But luckily, with this countertop, it cleans up so easily. Here's our next cup. You can see it's way clearer. No bubbles. I'll just give it a good mix, so that way it gets all the plastic off the bottom. Mixed in there. Put it in for another 40 seconds. And I've noticed with this red label, I can heat it up more times than these other two, and the color doesn't start to burn as fast. Slide it off in front of that one. Clean up the mold. Inside's still a little gooey. Clean out the injectors. You can see the grease on the O-ring there. All right, let's take these out. There's the sinking ones. Set those to the side while we get ready for our red label, or soft, or soft consistency. Hang you guys up. You can see all the way to the bottom. 15 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, there we go, I guess. And that's what I didn't want to happen. It just to pour in. But that's close enough. That's 15 drops, I would say. Now, if I was really doing this scientific, I would start fresh, but I don't want to restart. And I honestly don't think that the color really matters. I could have done it all as clear. But we're doing it this way. Alright. We're full. It actually looks identical. Now when I'm done with this stuff, I will just add black flake to it and fish them normally. Or I may not add no flake to them. We'll go ahead and get our pulled off of the sprues. Put that in the plastic so that way when I pull it out to reuse that cup, it doesn't I don't have a lot of extra pieces. It's all one piece. Alright, we're almost ready to pull these guys out. I do like that color. It does look like a watermelon. Super opaque. Very good opaqueness. About to think I say I couldn't think of the word. Alright. No drips. We'll pull these out. And we'll get on to the scientific of this. Here they are. I am actually going to let these cool in the middle for about 2 minutes. So I will be right back when they have cooled. Alright, let's test them out. So we got our sinking right here. I'm going to try to place them about the same. Tail kind of flat. We got it in grams. Come on. 4 grams, which equals out to 1 ounce. Here is our red label. 4 grams. Oh. 5 grams. 5 grams. Okay. 4 grams for our floating. Let's grab one more out of each out of each. So there's another 5 grams out of the floating. 4 grams out of the floating. Red label, soft. 4 grams. 4 grams for the red label on that one. 4 grams for the floating. 4 grams. 4 grams. Okay. So what we have learned is that mold does not shoot consistently. Because if most of these were 4 grams and I was getting a 5 gram out of this one, then 3 out of the 4 were 4, and only 1 was a 5 gram. The rest of these were all 4s, so the only thing I can think of is too much plastic on the tips. Like maybe this one was a 5, I think. It's got just a hair bit more. Nah, this one has some on it too. So does this one. Well, so my scientific thing come out to, they all weigh the same, I would say, in my opinion. They all weighed the same, so they do not weigh more for being sinking or floating. Science. It's a wonderful thing. Well, that's going to do it for me here today. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.